Din, 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 din. Bada bing, bada boom. Hey, thank you, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of the Rock and Roll Geezers Show. I'm your host, Murph, and as you know, we're your weekly outlet for rock news and all that crazy stuff going on. So be sure, if you can, like it says behind me, give us some thumbs up and do some subscribing if you could. Yeah, that'd be very cool. But hey, welcome again to Rock and Roll Theater. I'm Murph. And boy, this episode, geez, Slayer, of course, in the news again. The Eagles, the Beatles, Billy Corgan, Pantera, and we got some sad news on some of our favorite rock stars that we'll be talking about, and Bob Rocks and Lemmy and all sorts of cool stuff. But can't do it without my co-host Doc Fox. What's shaking there, Doc?
Yeah, doing all right, Murph. Doing quite well.
Good.
Yeah, welcome everybody. Another episode, another whole new batch of rock and roll news for this week, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we got some good ones, man. We're gonna start with this Slayer story. I don't even know what's going. I don't even know where to start, quite honestly.
I swear to God. You remember a couple of weeks back on our show, it was all over in the news how the two guys, Tama Ayala and Kerry King, were just, they couldn't stand each other, couldn't care less about each other anymore. Basically, Kerry King saying it on that
Yeah, yeah.
on his side. So we thought they were done because he was all ticked off about the Slayer, retiring and whatnot. And so he thought 2 weeks ago, "Oh, that's it, we're done with the Slayer." And then, sure enough, this week we see the news where Slayer's gonna be reuniting for a couple of shows, a Riot Fest and Louder Than Life. September, yeah, both of them in September. So that just blew all our comments right out of the water there, Doc. What the heck is going on here?
Dude, I don't know, man. This is your kind of not your typical showing up and reuniting after a final tour kind of thing. But yeah, the comments by Kerry King, that he didn't like the way Tom Araya, excuse me, brought it up to a journalist. I think it was like a college level kind of a newspaper or something,
Right.
and kind of let the cat out of the bag before even talking to Kerry King. So he was kind of like, that's not cool. We should be, talking these things out. And now he's doing the exact same thing, apparently, bringing them back because now
Yeah, I don't get it.
Kerry's he doesn't know about this stuff. He wasn't approached about it. He's got a solo album he's out there promoting and touring on, and focusing on. And now all of a sudden, Tom Araya is saying, "Hey, we're doing these festivals."
He's like, and the funny thing is, yeah, and this is from the Metal Mayhem News. I'm not familiar with the outfit, and I'm not sure about this quote, but apparently Kerry King quoted after he found out that they're actually going to do a couple of shows. He says, "I'm as shocked as anyone. I was not called or anything about this. Tom Araya won't even answer my calls. I've been busy getting ready to promote my insanely brutal solo record. I can't believe they are doing this behind my back. I've already been in contact with my lawyers. We will get this settled. Don't you worry." Wow, what the hell kind of well, so apparently, well, I don't get it. How does that work? You can't just go, okay, we're going to go back out without even letting Kerry know. That
Right.
something doesn't
Like Tom's just
add up.
unilaterally just making the decisions, and I don't know. They got the rest of the guys apparently. Well, you remember too? Kerry made some comments that Dave Lombardo was dead to him.
Oh yeah, sure.
But he's not part of this. They're gonna have Paul Bostaph in on this, but yeah, it's gonna be Gary Holt and his wife's chiming in on it. I guess a lot of folks are kind of, hey, you guys said you were done, and she's like, well, then don't go, which
And then yeah, Tom's basically saying, this isn't a tour; it's just a couple of shows. But nonetheless,
which is
they're
not
gonna be.
surprising because that's kind of why they broke up. He just didn't want to be on the road anymore and everything. So this seems like a logical, middle ground, but that's not what they said, and that's not what apparently Kerry was under the impression of. He's ready to move on with a solo.
Wow.
Career,
Oh, Kerry,
so.
he looks pissed. Look at him. He's really,
Yeah,
he's
he always
really
looks pissed
torqued
though.
off. Damn them. But
That's what a lot of fans are saying. It's like, oh, Kerry, you were pissed when you broke up. Now you're pissed you're getting back together. But it's not like that. It's about not being notified and not being part of the decision. And
wow,
I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. If what we're seeing is true, I'm with Kerry on this one.
Who's to say he doesn't already have a couple of gigs booked on them days with his solo act, for Christ's
Right.
sake. So, yeah, there's a lot of interesting, weird stuff about that.
Dude,
But
yeah, there's definitely
the
a lot to
wives have
unpack on that.
the wives have been spewing forth, and it's wow, and that's just amazing. And they don't. In the article I read here, they don't even mention anything about well, wait a while. Now, in a statement confirming Slayer's return, Araya says, nothing compares to the 90 minutes when we were on stage playing live, sharing that intense energy with our fans and beat. And to be honest, we have missed that, King added. King added, wait a while. King added, have I missed playing live? Absolutely. Slayer meant a lot to our fans. They mean a lot to us. It will be 5 years since we have seen them. So I don't know what's going on. It sounds like they both are itching, but like you say, Kerry's he's got his solo thing. Now his focus is going to be there, and suddenly he out of the clear blue, it doesn't make sense. We'll see. I'm sure this will simmer for a while, and we'll see what the next
Yeah,
step
just
is on
on
this.
also too, just on a side note, the two festivals they're doing, Riot Fest, which I've attended many times, and I don't know, I might go back this year now. But the other one, Louder Than Life. Have you seen the lineup? We've talked about the lineup for this thing is unbelievable, man. It just
Oh, I believe that.
oh
Yeah.
my gosh, man. It's like 4 days, and the tickets are not crazy. It's like $220, I think, for the 4 days. So that's not
Wow.
crazy. And
And
they
that is
man,
that.
they've got a lot. I think what's in Kentucky, I think. So
I'm not
yeah,
even sure, but boy, they got the big ones. They got the
yeah. I
big
don't know if I'll be
hitters.
making the drive down there, but holy cow, what it looks like a hell of a
No,
festival.
Slayer may be coming to Chicago though, obviously,
Well, Riot
to
Fest,
Riot
yeah,
Fest.
yeah,
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 that's
yeah.
crazy. Wow, wow. We'll see. I'm anxious to see how
That was
this.
one of their last gigs before they hung it up initially. I want to say the next to last maybe, but one of the
Oh,
very last gigs they did was at Riot Fest. So now they're going back there. So
there you go. Well, we'll see how that works out. Yeah, here's an interesting little ditty. I'm sort of surprised about this. The Eagles, the Hotel California case is what they're calling it. And it's a trial over the handwritten lyrics to the Eagles classic. And this is really a mosh of craziness here. You want to go through the specifics, or
yeah,
give me?
apparently back in the day, I'm not sure on the year, but there was a guy writing a book on the Eagles, doing a kind of a document or biography type of a
Biography,
book.
right?
And so he accumulated lots of different documents and doing this, and a lot of them were handwritten lyrics. And I guess the book never came to be or whatever, and everybody just kind of forgot about all the documents. I'm not exactly sure, but now it's coming out. I guess this guy sold all those kind of things. So there's like 80 pages of handwritten lyrics, and there's this group. You probably have the names of the guys there. They acquired them, and now they're trying to sell them. And of course, Don Henley's not having that, so he's taking them to court. But yeah, I don't see where they'd have the right if he's declaring them as stolen, and
Yeah,
they're obviously stolen property. I don't see where they have the right to sell them. But I don't know. They're going to court about it, so we'll see how it plays out. But
yeah. Jeez, what a mangled mess that was. Absolutely. But Sotheby's actually listed the Hotel California song lyrics in a 2016 auction, but withdrew them after learning the ownership was in question. So, they
yeah,
weren't charged at anything. They didn't know about this, but what a mess, And there you go, though.
yeah. There's a lot. It's not
Hey,
just Hotel California. They got like Life in the Fast Lane and New Kid in Town, and pretty much I'm assuming everything off that album probably and more.
boy, oh boy,
And
man, oh man. Yeah. So, well, they should get it back, especially if it was acquired by illicit means, Doc. I think they should definitely get it back. But well, there are three guys: Horowitz, in Kiarda, and Kosinski. The three people they're being charged with conspiracy to possess stolen property and various other offenses. So, woo, that looks like it could get pretty deep. So,
yeah, I
more.
mean, I'm thinking about this, and there's like all kinds of possibilities in my mind. It's like, are they trying to get rid of the stuff before they get caught with it, and trying to get some kind of their money back? Or I'm not sure what's going on there, but
Oh
yeah, it
boy.
doesn't seem like they have the rights to it at all. So I'm sure the
Wow.
Eagles will win that
Oh
one.
yeah, and the guy who was going to write the biography of Ed Sanders, and if you remember, he co-founded '60s band, the Fugs. The Fugs. That's right. Countercultural rock band, the Fugs. So that's a cool name, if nothing else. The Fugs. Speaking of a cool name, and oh, here's my favorite picture of them here, right here. Boom, the Beatles, John, Paul,
The
George, and
Yachtleys.
Ringo. Yeah, apparently, the Beatles organization has announced details of a biopic for each member that
Yeah.
will basically intersect. I find this interesting. I don't think this is going to be like when Kiss each did their own record. I think this is
Right.
going to be a little better than
Yeah, a
that.
little more sophisticated than that. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be like four different pictures. This guy Sam Mendes, and
Hmm.
he directed a Skyfall. That was a James Bond movie? I
James
think. Yeah,
Bond. Oh yeah.
and a couple other things. So he's obviously a seasoned director and doing four different ones. And yeah, they're going to be kind of intermeshing. And I can't imagine. I'm sure maybe the actors from the other three will be in the one on that specific Beetle. But I don't know. I'm sure it'll be real interesting. But see, you got the gig there where now you got to go see all four movies.
Uh-huh. There you
That's
go.
the that's the rub there, man.
Oh, and I noticed your shirt. Yeah.
Oh
Good
yeah, I got my
job.
Beatles shirt on
Got your
today, sir.
four separate persons there,
Oh
four
yeah,
separate movies. It'll be interesting. The project actually marks the first time that Apple Corporation and the Beatles, McCartney, Starr, and the estates of Lennon and Harrison have granted full life story and music
yeah,
rights to a scripted film. So he's going to
yeah.
have access to
Oh yeah, they're all
everything,
they're all in,
as
man.
well it should be, man.
Oh
And,
yeah.
and of course, youngsters out there, if you haven't seen A Hard Day's Night, you owe it to yourself. Honestly, see what the Beatles are about, man. They were
Yeah, just on
crazy
a
looking.
historical kind of level,
Gosh,
nothing else. Yeah,
wow, crazy cool. But it's set to be released starting, or I don't know how they're gonna do it, but it's gonna be starting in 2027.
yeah. I
So
figured it's out yet.
we'll see
So,
how they do that.
but you got to think though, with the four movies, the way movies are now, they're not like an hour and a half like it used to be. They're 2 hours plus. So you
Yeah,
got the four movies, and yeah, they're going to focus on the individual members, but there's going to be a lot of just Beatles stuff there too. That's going to cross all four movies, and man, it's
I dig it, man. I think
yeah, it's
I've always been a Beatles fan. Anybody
oh, who
who
hasn't?
yeah, I was right in that era, turning on the music, and they were formidable force, man. Wow, a lot of great stuff.
Not
I've
just
actually
musically, but culturally, man. I
culturally,
mean,
geez, everything. I got a few friends who aren't Beatles fans, and I must say I'm shocked. But to each their
uh,
own. Shame on
yeah.
them. But
I feel sorry for people like that.
yeah, here's something that is bizarro land, as far as I can see. That Billy Corgan. He's going to be starring in a new unscripted series about his life. My question is, why? I don't. It's, I,
Well, it's really more. He's the president of the National Wrestling Alliance, the NWA. He's the president of that, and this is really going to be more of a promotional thing for that, really. So this is in connection with the CW, if you remember that network. I think they're just
all right,
an online streaming presence at this time. I think I'm not sure. I don't know.
I
But
believe so. Yeah.
as of yet, it's untitled, but it's going to focus on his family and being a rock star. But there's going to be a lot of his role as president of the NWA. And they have a separate thing on the CW that's just about the NWA. So it's kind of a package deal. It's kind of like take this and do this one too. And so,
Oh
yeah.
boy, I don't know. Well, he just got the voice that drives me
You know,
nuts. So,
I'm
but
I'm a I'm a big fan of Pumpkins, love their music, but yeah, his I get past the voice. I guess I'm not a fan of his voice at all.
got a whine
Yeah,
to it,
at
But
all, man. But Siamese Dream, one of my favorite albums. Just a lot of great songs on other albums, but yeah, his voice just I don't know. I wish it were better. I wish it
oh,
were better.
that's wild. So he's a wrestling guy, and wow, Corgan said the CW has made a big commitment to sports, and they have an incredible top tier streaming service platform. The network's audience represents a very wide swath of American culture, which wrestling has always been a key part of. Well, yeah, the partnership gives us the opportunity to reach that audience more readily. We're excited to get the chance to show there are other voices in professional wrestling. With NWA, there's honesty, integrity, and a different level of swagger because it's coming from the underground. It's similar to rock and roll in that respect. With the CW behind us, we're pulling NWA into the light where fans can appreciate its
Yeah.
authenticity. So
Yeah. So it's just a promotional
wrestling.
thing for that, and but they say it will be a unparalleled candor. So my
Oh
impression of
boy.
Billy Corgan over there, yeah, he's a pretty no bullshit kind of guy. I think he'd be pretty open on stuff. So I don't think he's going to be manipulative with it. But you got the producers, you can't, they're going to get
I didn't
their
I didn't
ways in there. But
I didn't know he was so heavily involved in wrestling though.
yeah,
I
he
mean,
does a lot of different stuff,
one,
man.
NWA, that's been around forever. One of the best in the world, and he's curated matches. He sought out exciting talent, building a haven for future superstars. That's incredible. Wow. I had no idea he was so into wrestling.
Yeah.
And boy, wrestling, geez, I don't know. They got some EAW now or something on my channels, the extreme ones, but I still can't watch it. The old days with Macho Man, the old Macho Man. He was the very best of them all. He was the top of all wrestlers as far as I'm concerned. He
Dude,
was
I
the best.
recently came across a video this week just purely by happenstance.
Yeah.
And there was an incident. I can't think of the wrestler. I want to say Hacksaw Jim Duggan,
I
Dugan
follow
Duggan.
him on Facebook.
And
He's in the air right now. He's
uh,
heading back to Charlotte. Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was him, but it was a scene with the journalist John Stossel. John
Oh
Stossel.
no, that was
And no, it's John Stossel, this one. And he's
yeah, yeah.
interviewing him, and he says that wrestling's fake. And he
Oh
just
that
whops him upside the head. Is that fake?
oh no,
And
who
then
was that?
gives him another one on the other side of that. And then he's doing an interview about it. And he said he had permanent, damage from that,
That
man.
was Dr. Dave Schultz, baby. Big,
Oh, that was the
huge
wrestler? Okay.
Dr. Dave Schultz wrestler.
Okay.
And he was
Okay.
I read about he's backstage. He wasn't a pleasant guy either. So the last one that Stossel should have interviewed was Dr.
Right.
Dave
Stay away from
Schultz.
that dude. Yeah, go talk to Hulk Hogan or
Well,
somebody.
let's expand. We got time. About wrestling, everybody calls it fake, fake, fake. Let me tell you, man, you understand what they're putting their bodies
It's a
through?
predetermined outcome.
That at the same time they destroy their bodies. So even
Yeah.
though it's fake,
The
they're
shit they're
they're
doing is not
getting the
fake.
damage. They're
Right.
taking on the damage. These poor wrestlers. I can imagine. I was a bricklayer. That screwed up my whole fucking body that way. But these guys, night after night, coming off of the top rails and top
Oh
ropes and
yeah.
crap. Really, I mean, it may be choreographed, but holy Christ! I mean, these guys, they get hurt, and boy, Dr. Dave Schultz.
And
That was great.
Vince McMahon does shit for their healthcare too. They're like
Oh yeah,
basically on their
no.
own for the healthcare, man. It's
They've
just
got they've got a series on TV, Behind the Ring or whatever. It talks about the behind the scenes at the wrestling world, and yeah, it's brutal. It's my God. They got to be away from their families 300 days a year because they're constantly on tour and just horrible. Yesterday's episode was on the I watched was on the steroid use. How Vince McMahon got out of that one just by a squeaker. From pumping all his wrestlers full of steroids. But
You ever
what
see the
crazy?
movie The Wrestler, Mickey Rourke?
Oh yeah, wow,
Great movie, man. Great
man,
movie.
Mickey Rourke, yeah, yeah. I don't know what he did to his face, but great, and in Iron Man 2, he was excellent. But yeah, Billy Corgan, man, there you go, big wrestling fanatic. I had no idea, but more power to him, because it is truly a really interesting segment of our society, because everybody knows it's fake, but they beat the crap out of each other. People go nuts and, they come out with their weird costumes. It's all fake, like The Undertaker, he was mean Mark Carlson, originally. They all, they change their name depending on what happens. So it's all theater, but it's a theater that just destroys their body.
Yeah.
So I would suggest Corrigan, don't get in the ring, man. Don't get in the ring. Stay away from Ric Flair, legend Ric Flair. He's still around. 75 years old he turned yesterday. So holy smoke him. So Billy Corgan, big wrestling fan. Good for him, man. Why not? Oh, here's a cool story, and this I totally agree with. Zach Wild.
Oh yeah, you said this.
Yeah, Zach Wild. The headline reads: Zach Wild is open to making new music with Pantera, but says you would have to call it something else. Bingo! Why not? I think that's a great idea. Because and again, I a lot of times I just sit around and do nothing, Doc, because I'm old and tired. And I was on YouTube and I saw a recent Pantera concert, and geez, I mean they're just so brutal. They are
Tearing it
just
up,
so
yeah.
it's just so brutally good. So yeah, I'd love to see this band continue. But yeah, don't call yourself Pantera. You know, like I said, they actually should have called themselves the Pantera Tribute. Although immediately, even with the opening credits, when you're watching them in concert, the video beforehand, pays tribute totally to them. So
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
all
like
about that, right? There's no
yeah,
confusion
it's all
about it.
about the brothers. So,
Like I
but
said,
yeah,
if you were to do new music, it's not the same band. You got to call it something else, and that's what Zach Wild's saying. But the producer, I can't get the guy's name, but the longtime producer, one of the people controlling Vinny's estate, he says right now nobody's looking at that right now. They're focused. They got a long world tour to focus on, but yeah, just
yeah,
it's it's fun to think about, and I'm sure people are going to ask them, and I'm sure it's come up with them. I mean, when they're,
oh
out there,
yeah,
playing and rehearsing whatever, and they
that'd be
got
great.
ideas for songs and stuff. So
Put out a new album, go out and promote it, play half the new album, and of course, look at the backup you got to work with. You got all the Pantera music you can play
right,
too. That's so I'm all for that. Good for them. Yeah, they are just so badass. I mean, and Salmo, he sounds better than ever. And of course, Zach Wild,
dude,
he's
that
at the
Selmo,
very
he's
top.
an original, man. He's one of those guys. There's nobody else like him, man. Good or
But it's
bad,
funny.
mostly bad, but
He'll
man, there's
come out
nobody
with
else
a
like
shirt
him,
like
man.
mine. He'll come out with a shirt like
Yeah,
mine, sleeveless, usually shorts,
some
no
cargo
shoe or
short,
nothing,
yeah,
and no
yeah,
no
yeah,
short
yeah.
shoes or nothing. He
Yep.
just do your just they're so brutal. They are so
Looks like he just
brutally
got done
good.
working on his car or something, and
Yeah,
just come up. Yeah,
and there he is, just commanding a major
he was the
audience.
first guy to like shave it. That was back when everybody had long hair, and all of a sudden here's Anselmo with have his head shaved, and just
Well, it fits his voice and
he's a
his
different kind of dude,
demeanor
man.
too, because he's just bad to the bone. So freaking A, good for them. I hope they do come out with new music. We need some good new stuff. Some nice brutal stuff.
Be
And
interesting to
we
see what they call it.
yeah. Pantera. Yeah, that's a great card too, the Pantera. Yeah. Oh, here we go. This really bums me out. And with our age, we gotta expect it. And this is not, we've talked a lot about Foreigner, about how they're basically a cover band now. And I think a couple of years ago, I think Mick played with them when I saw him a few years back. Mick was with him, but we saw him last year. He wasn't with them, and now we come to find out that he's been diagnosed with Parkinson, for crying out loud. Jeez. Yeah, mega foreigner guitarist Mick Jones has revealed he's battling Parkinson's disease. He's 79 years old, and he hadn't performed with them since 2022. I think that's when I saw him a couple of years back. Yeah. And oh boy, what a shame. You got his quote. You want me to read it?
No, go ahead.
He wrote, "Fans will have to become very aware that for some time now, I have not been performing on stage with the band. Several years ago, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. I want everybody to know that I am doing all right. However, I've always liked to be at my best when performing on stage, and sadly, at present, I find that a bit difficult. I'm still very much involved in the background with Foreigner and remain a presence. Parkinson's is a daily struggle. The important thing is to persevere and remind myself of the wonderful career I've had in music. I thank all of the fans who have supported Foreigner throughout the years and continue to attend our concerts. I want you to know I appreciate your support. It always means so very much to me, but especially so at this point in my life. Holy smokums, that sucks. That really blows, man.
Yeah,
Damn.
and as we've stated, they just got the nod nominated for Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they're doing quite well in the fan voting. I've been watching that. Ozzy's been leading the pack, and I think they've been
Yeah.
second. So,
Good. Well,
um,
he needs to get it. He wrote so many good
if they
riffs.
were to make it, hopefully he can stick around and show up. Hopefully you can
Yeah,
enjoy
yeah.
it. So
Well, he does really well. We've talked about this. They've had, especially me back in the '70s. They just had one hit after another on the radio. So he's a hit writing machine. He was. So he definitely deserves to be in there, and that's such a shame. Uh, Parkinson's, doggone it, and he's not going to get any better now. So it's pretty much done for his playing. And in that same vein, I was on YouTube, and Judas Priest put out their latest video, their newest video. I can't remember the name of it right up to my hand, but I watched it, and it's basically all what's his name on guitar, Glenn Tipton. They have him in the video barely, just sort of, you know, and
Yeah.
the other guitars, brain fart,
Faulkner, Richie
Richie
Faulkner. Yeah.
Faulkner. Yeah, you could, he's doing all the playing and stuff, and they
Yeah.
just they do a real quick a second clip of Glenn in the video, but then they go right back to, and it's a decent enough video, but same thing with Glenn Tipton. He's got Parkinson's, and trust me, they may bring him out. I don't even know if they still bring him out, but he'll do a couple of very basic songs, like "Living After Midnight" or something, which is not
Yeah, they were
complex or
doing
anything.
bringing them out for encores and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
for a while,
yeah.
but yeah, probably still doing the same thing.
But what a shame, boy, oh boy.
Yeah, we got a couple others.
Yeah, yeah. Let's move on from this. Poor Mick. Doggone it. Lots of great riffs. And even though I never really dug this guy's voice, still nonetheless Rick Emmett from Triumph, legendary Canadian power trio. Boy, they've had a couple of great power trios come out of Canada there,
Yeah,
Doc.
yeah,
Triumph and Rush, but Triumph's
yeah.
Rick
What was that
Emmett.
other one? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Rush. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And he just he completed radiation treatment for prostate cancer. Crying out loud. Oh boy, people, it sucks getting old, people. Just so you
No, there could
know.
be some Triumph, man. They were on a pretty good little roll there in the early up mid '80s, and yeah, every album came out, sold real well, and had a couple hits on it. So yeah, they had a pretty good run. And yeah, Rick Emmett, man, struggling with prostate, right? Prostate cancer.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
he was asked if he could ever foresee getting back on the road again, and he responded, "I am a guy that wrote a song that said never say never."
yeah.
And I do find it dangerous to take a really big paintbrush and paint brush strokes. But I should tell you, I've been struggling with some arthritis in my hands. Right on, brother. And that's changing things. I don't know how much it will. Wow. And he continued, I've gone through a sort of a cancer treatment. Now I'm sort of trying to deal with this advent of rheumatoid arthritis, and I don't know how much it's going to knock a hole in my ability to play. So certainly going out on the road and traveling in hotels and airports, that does seem like a grind to me. And I got to admit, my wife has been patiently sitting around for decades waiting for, hey, she's going to go on a safari. She's going to like Kenya and Nairobi this year, and I'm not going with her. That's not my idea of fun. So it sounds like we may have seen the last of them, you know. Yeah, good for him. If his, after all these decades she's been waiting for him, go take a vacation, pal. Forget about, you don't need to gig anymore, especially if he's got the money. Forget it. That's not the important thing at this point in his life. That should be the least
You know,
important thing in his life.
the thing about it, so many like I always to me it always comes down to Tom Petty and Prince, man. If those guys would have just stopped a little sooner, they'd still be around, man. And just but no, they kept pushing themselves and taking medication to get up there, and then just it ended up being their demise, man. And
Yeah.
know when to get out, man, because there's nothing more important than your health
And
and
family. Yeah, yeah.
so
So go with your wife. Go enjoy it. Really, especially since you got through cancer. Now it's time to reap the benefits of your musical career. You can leave that behind and start a whole freaking new life, which is what I would do. Shit. And one more, which really bums me out. And this is one of my favorite progressive bands from back in the '70s, and that would be Kansas. And of course, Kansas, they're still touring, but they've had their original guitarist Rich Williams and their drummer Phil Earhart were the only two original members still
oh
touring with them.
really?
Yeah,
Wow.
and Kansas has confirmed that Phil Earhart is recovering from a heart attack, and his drum tech is replacing him. Boy, yeah. As a result of the heart attack, he is taking a break from touring. In a new statement made on Kansas's media accounts, Uh, let me see. Yeah, pardon me. But yeah, I guess he had a massive heart attack, a major heart attack, they call it. Woo, doggy. Right on, Phil. I know where you're coming from, man.
Whenever you hear the tech, the drum tech, in this case, just filling in, to me that gives you a pretty good sign that it's going to be, they're planning on being a short term thing, and they're just
Oh yeah.
grabbing this guy as kind of like the understudy, and kind of them fill in for however long, month, 6 weeks, whatever it is, so oh yeah, hopefully you'll get back out there real soon, man.
I don't know. Yeah, Eric Holmquist is his drum tech's name. I think I don't know. I think it's a warning. My my cardiologist told me uh uh I don't know, probably after my second heart attack. So she said the drumming is like the worst thing for the heart because it's all herky jerky. You don't get a smooth
Oh wow.
workout on the heart. It's doing it and then it's herky jerky and slow and boom. So actually, drumming's not good for the heart. But and
Yeah, I never thought about that, but I'd imagine,
because
yeah,
it's
you
it's
keep
not
different
as smooth,
tempos, and yeah,
and
right,
your heart
right,
gets
right,
up, gets down, gets up real quick,
right,
gets
right,
down.
right.
So yeah, that's pretty gnarly. But yeah, that was her advice to me. Don't
Wow.
become a drummer. So God, he's been a drummer for over 50 years. And they're just their first like 5 albums are total legends in music. Boy, composition, execution, the whole kit and caboodle. So I'll tell you what, hang in there, Phil Earhart, and that's all I got to say about that. Oh yeah, okay, back we are. Hey, I got some news about Bob Rock, one of our favorite producers. If anybody forgot, he was the guy who supposedly did all the in studio bass work for Nikki Sixx for the Motley Crue albums from here to Lord knows when. So apparently he's a very accomplished guy, and he also, as you know, Doc, he produced some Metallica work. What do you think about that?
Yeah, he's been that guy. He was that guy for a little while, and now he's selling his catalog. And we always talk about bands and artists selling, but now we got a
Producers,
producer
he's
selling.
got
Yeah.
a yeah. I did not know producers they get a
Well,
cut.
well, I
Wow,
guess yeah. I mean, I really think about
I
it,
figured
but
they get a flat rate. Here's
right,
for the
right, right,
hourly pay and boom. But no,
right, right.
apparently he got a cut. He's selling 43 songs from what were the 4 albums that with Doc
Well, for the Metallica, he started on the Black album,
Black
and then he
album?
did the Load and the Reload, and then the famous or
Saint
infamous, I should
Anger.
say, Saint Anger album was the last one he
Ooh,
did. So
four four
that's a little
four
telling
albums.
there, but yeah. But
Obviously,
yeah,
there's
just
some
with them stuff he did with Crew, he even produced folks like Michael Bublé, people
holy
like that.
schmoke.
So
Yeah,
um,
well, I'll be darned. So yeah, he's you know just joining the crowd of people who are making the money while the market's good, I guess. But I like I say again, I'm surprised that the producers get a cut. He must have made
that
a
probably
good
depends on the contract too. And what I'm thinking too is, okay, he did play some bass on the Metallica Black album,
ah
and does he have a cut as a performer, or is it all just purely as a producer? I mean, who knows?
wow.
With the contract, I'm sure they got stuff,
Well, holy cow, yeah, that's a
all
good
kinds of
point. I didn't
lawyeries
think
going
about
on.
that.
Uh,
Yeah, boy, oh boy. So yeah, so good for him. He's gonna probably I doesn't
and these
say any.
companies, these companies that are buying up all these publishing rights, are they just like approaching everybody? Are they just like sending out stuff to, like, to everybody? Say, hey man, we will buy the rights to your, whatever publishing rights you have.
It
Here's
sure
our
seems like
offer,
that,
and
doesn't it?
because yeah, like I said, it was really going strong for a while, and it kind of calmed down, and now here's like 3 weeks in a row again. Now we brought it up, so I don't
I'll
know.
be
Seems
darned.
to be a thing again. So
No, the biggest problem I have is he's Canadian. He's Canadian. Yeah, hey there. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but his name Bob Rock. He's got to be a cool
That's
guy,
great.
Bob Rock.
That is a pretty cool moniker, if you will. And here's one of our favorite people. That would be Lemmy. Good old Lemmy. You know, he really guy was great. He's in Hawkwind before he started Motorhead, and he was actually their guitarist for a while. Then he switched over to bass, so that's why when you look at it, when you hear him and look at him playing, He's more a guitarist playing a bass and a bassist because he actually was a guitarist to start with. And he was born here in Kilmister in Burslem, Doc. He was born in Burslem, one of the towns that is part of the city of Stoke-on-Trent in
Uh,
Staffordshire before he and his family moved to Newcastle under Lyme. I
oh, he's
just
a Geordie.
I just love I just love those England towns, man. Where you live? I live in Newcastle on the Lyme. Oh, of course. I came from, city of Stoke-on-Trent. Well,
Uh,
of course you did.
uh, oh,
Quite.
you're from Newcastle. Are you a Geordie? Yeah. So yeah.
Quite. Yeah.
Quite.
Colonel McBragg. Quite. Yes. Oh, yes, I remember those days. But yeah, apparently his town, it's about time they're going to erect a statue of Lemmy. And, they just approved it. So, bam, there you go, Lemmy. Holy
Yeah, they
cow.
got a GoFundMe going, so it's going to be a crowdfunded kind of thing.
Good. Good for them.
They need £50,000 or 63,000 US, and that doesn't seem like a whole lot, really. It seems like something like that would be. And they're going to have the what they call the plinth. I learned a new word in this article. The plinth apparently means the stand that the statue's on is
The
going to be.
stand. Okay.
It's called a plinth apparently, and
Oh.
it's going to be 3 meters high, so like 10 feet tall, and it's to deter vandalism, deter people from
Ah.
So I'm sure people are going to want to. Who
And
knows?
yeah, put razor blades on the edge. That'll keep them out. But
People
yeah,
be
people love messing with statues.
yeah, be guilty of statutory rape with Lemmy. But
Oh, Jesus.
there's a couple. There's a couple other statues. There's one in Hellfest where they have the grounds for the Hellfest in France, and then of course they have the famous one at the Rainbow, where
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
sitting in his corner playing the Joker poker machine with and they, as you know, they call the Jack and Coke is now the
It's
Lemmy.
down the Lemmy. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I mean the
changed the name.
official American Bar Association or whatever. Yeah, it's called the Lemmy. So
I'll
yeah, they're
be
gonna. I'm
darned.
sure. I don't know what it's gonna look like, or I'm sure they're still working on that. But yeah, it should be pretty cool.
That's
Remember
great.
too, he's got lots of those bullets. Remember of his
That's
ashes?
right. We made of his
There was like
ashes.
there's like 100 of them, and he sent them out to folks like Rob Halford and
Some
there's
weird people
yeah,
too.
there's some
Yeah.
people you wouldn't expect, but yeah, there's like 100 people or whatever's got.
Yeah, but this is crazy though, and the artist is going to be Andy Edwards. Yeah, he was a sculptor of the world famous Liverpool waterfront Beatles statue, fame on his doorstep, also in Stoke-on-Trent. So, with their combined focus in one direction, a prime site has been agreed in the center of Lemmy's hometown, Burslem, directly in front of the iconic and historic town hall, and its famed Gold Angel and enthusiastic cross-party support from Stroke on Tent City Council given to the planning application. So they're all in. It's going to be right in front of City Hall. Dig that.
I
Yeah.
just see like
Hail
the mold.
Lemmy!
I just picture like they're all in a room and they're all like in the powdered wigs, right? And they're having their council meeting, and yes, let's get the chap that did the Beatles statue. They're all
Oh, that sounds like a fine. That
yeah.
sounds like a fine situation for me. Yeah. But yeah, and of course we all remember Lemmy passed on December 28th, 2015,
Yeah.
at the age of 70. And it still ticks me off though because right after he died, I actually saw his full last concert. They had it on YouTube from beginning to end, and then shortly afterward they cut it. And what a shame, because what a monumental concert that was. Boy, oh boy, they had that bomber above them, the frame bomber with all the lights on it. And it would move down and up. The mayhem was insane. And wow, wow, way to go, Lemmy. Yeah. And there was a custom made urn containing some of his ashes in display at the Columbarium at Forest Lawn Cemetery in Hollywood,
Right.
Colorado, California. So he spread his ashes all over the place,
Yeah,
man.
they got a
Good for
pretty
him.
good size urn at the Wacken Festival in Germany, where they have that. They have like a little monument to him, and then like we said, like 100. I think it's 100 of the bullets have been sent out. So Yeah,
Wow.
lots of little and big memorials to Lemmy, man. He was that guy, man. He was that guy, though. You know, he was
Yeah,
authentic as
well,
hell, and
totally
loved by
original.
metal guys and punk guys, and he was the guy, man.
Yeah, he
It's
was.
like in was that movie Airheads, and who would
I'd
win
like to
between
see
a
that. I'd like to see that. Yeah, yeah. Oh, good question. Yeah, what is
they're
it?
they're asking, trying to prove this guy's got metal credentials
Right,
or whatever,
right.
and like, who would win in a fight between Lemmy and God? And he's like,
Eh,
well, Lemmy. No, trick question. Lemmy is
Let me use
God.
God. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I'd like to see that movie again. Jesus, too many movies they ain't showing nowadays, and that'd be very cool. But yeah, so there you go. There's some really weird news going on this week. Got anything else for us, Doc? Or is
Yeah,
that
no, it
about
covers
it?
it pretty much for the week. So yeah, if you guys had a good time as we did, please like the show and give us a thumbs up, tell a friend, share, all that good stuff. And we do this each and every week, every Monday. So till then, have a great rock and roll filled week, everybody.